Alright, chat. 3 scary true Walmart horror stories. Oh, let's turn off the lights. Oh, not completely. Story
I used to work at a Walmart. The Walmart I worked at was open 24 hours back then. Due to my kid's school schedule, I would work overnight shifts so that I would be available to drop him off and pick him up. I would do a 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift every night. During the day, I'd sleep, take care of my son, and work my second job some days.
Wait, hold up. Thank you so much for the sub. You're a 1-year sub? And it's your first time talking? Welcome, Kat. That's the first time I've ever seen a 1-year sub with a first time chat message. Damn. That's crazy. Hope you're doing well, Kat. Welcome to the stream.
I was exhausted a lot during this time in my life. It wasn't a great time. I had to do what I could to cover rent, though. This Walmart was one of the bigger ones. It was a super center, not just a grocery store, so it had everything. It was one of the few open 24 hours around here. I think COVID changed that, though. When I got there around 10 this one cold night, there was still a decent amount of shoppers in the store. A lot of people would come in for some late night shopping. As the hours would pass, it would of course quiet down tremendously. The late hours of the night would attract a lot of weirder characters. Weirder than the usual ones during the day.
Hey, chat, does Walmart get very weird at night? Do you guys go Walmart at night, or do you avoid it? Is Walmart one of those places at night you avoid? One of the places you avoid at night? Yeah? What? Yeah. Definitely. Walmart is weird all day.
Into the AM hours of the night, there was only one person working the front of the store, and he or she would be at the self-checkout registers. There were no regular registers open this late. There would also be a couple of stock workers on the floor, which was what I did. Then there would be a couple warehouse workers in the back, who I really didn't ever interact with. They did their own thing. And then there's just the night manager on duty. I was in the cereal aisle doing my usual stock work. I noticed a customer walk past the aisle, then seconds later he stepped back into view at the end of the aisle, stopped, and looked down at me. When I looked back at him, he started looking at the cereal. The guy—
Yeah, because he's probably amazed at how many cereals are in the cereal aisle. He might be from the UK, bro. Tripping out. I would. Got many different cereals in, man.
He had curly hair. I couldn't gauge his ethnicity, honestly. He had a black backpack on that looked like it was stuffed to the brim with God knows what. He awkwardly lingers in the cereal aisle for a minute, apparently looking at the granola bars. Then he came a little closer to me and asked me where the bread is. I pointed him in the right direction. He said thanks and slowly walked away out of the aisle. I watched him walk away, and he had a very noticeable waddle in his walk. When he was out of sight, he was out of mind, though. The problem was that he wasn't out of sight for long. I was in the cereal aisle for quite some time, and I started noticing that every few minutes, that guy would slowly pass by the aisle looking down in this direction. He wasn't holding anything. He didn't get any bread. He just had on his big, sketchy backpack. I started working faster just so I could finish this aisle and move away from him. When I was done, I brought the empty U-boat platform back to the warehouse, where I grabbed another U-boat full of boxes ready to stock. I purposely picked an aisle far away from the cereal aisle. I was now in the chips aisle. This is also about 45 minutes after initial contact with that guy, so there should have been no way he was still here.
Okay.
But I was wrong. He found me. I was rotating the newer bag.
How he said he found me. Well, it's not really hard to find you. You know, you work in Walmart and he's in Walmart. It's not like he's stalking. Well, he might be, but
of chips behind the older ones on the shelf. And then I looked to my right, and that guy was at the end of the aisle, creeping again. He still had nothing in his hands. This man had been creeping around the store for almost an hour. Hey,
I wonder if one of these stories is about me. Cause there's been times in stores where I'm indecisive, right? I pick up things, put it down. I'm like, no, yes, no, yeah. Bro, I've sometimes wandered around the store for like 45 minutes and I ain't got nothing. And I leave with nothing. because I can't decide about the thing that I went near wasn't actually there, and I'm trying to find a replacement, and I can't find it. I'm looking up and down, up and down, up and down, and I'm realizing like, oh, maybe it was there, and maybe it might be at the back, and I look at the back. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe one of these stories about me, dude.
He then finally approached me as I was dreading he would. I tried to look away until he started to speak. I don't remember word for word what he said, but basically, he said that he's been checking me out, and he couldn't resist coming up to me telling me how beautiful I am.
Oh, he fancies
I
you.
responded as politely as I could. I did a fake little laugh and said, "No, thank you, that's very sweet." He didn't stop there though. He asked a bunch of personal questions like where I'm from. I gave fake answers to everything. This guy absolutely reeked, and his breath was awful. I was genuinely repulsed. He asked for my number, and I said I'm seeing someone. He said there's nothing wrong with us just being friends. To get him to leave me alone, I gave him a fake number. I then told him I really can't be talking to anyone while I'm working. He made some creepy comment before walking away, thinking he was all suave that he got my number, when in reality he was genuinely creepy and I gave him a fake number. I thought that would be the end of it. Hours went by and time felt like it was going in reverse. I wanted to go home. Then the only other stock worker on the job at that hour suddenly walkie-talkied me, saying there's some creepy looking guy asking for me. I said oh no, and then told her to tell him I left. I then basically made a beeline for the employee lounge, where I planned on hiding for a while. I made it to the lounge and then sat in one of the seats. Then the double doors opened, and in came that guy.
Oh, hell no.
He looked at me, and he looked angry. He yelled, "You gave me a fake number, you bitch." I think I swallowed my gum out of fear. I said, "You can't be back here, sir." He then took off his backpack and plopped it on the table next to mine. He started unzipping it as he looked at me. That's when it was time for me to go. I got up and ran past him without thinking. He tried to grab my arm, but he failed. As I ran through the store, I looked back and saw he was running after me. I ran to the front of the store and outside to my car. It was the only thing I could think to do in the moment. Alternatively, I could have tried finding the male warehouse workers in the back, or even the manager, but that was no guarantee.
Yeah, I was gonna say, instead of running out into the car park, mate, thanks so much for the sub, by the way. I think I missed that. Instead of running out to the car park, why don't you run to other staff? Like, surely there's loads of other staff on, right?
I got to my car and saw the man leave the Walmart looking for me. He was slow. He must have been on something. He saw my car, but it was too late. I was already driving away. I called the night manager and let him know what just went down, and that I'm not comfortable staying there tonight. I also warned him of the man with the backpack full of unknown contents. My manager told me I can't leave the place short-staffed. He said he'd call the police to make sure the man doesn't come back, and he told me to come back.
Hey, that sounds like Walmart, man. I don't know Walmart, but that sounds like what Walmart would be like. Wait, you're getting chased by someone? By a creep in our store? No, you gotta come back, man. You can't leave it short-staffed. No, you gotta come back.
I was adamant about not returning that night, though.
Crazy.
He eventually got the message and said he'd review the camera footage, but that I need to come back tomorrow night. And I did. He allegedly notified the police the next day of the man and gave the police department the surveillance footage. I met a lot of characters working that job, but this guy was by far the scariest. I don't know what he was reaching for in his backpack. I don't want to either.
Could be anything. Could be anything.
I was 14 when this happened. There's a Walmart that's walking distance to my house. I used to sometimes go there to buy clothing and such before I was of driving age, since it was so close. Sometimes I'd go with my friend Emily, sometimes I'd just go alone. The Walmart is part of the nearby mall, but the mall kind of stinks now. Most of the good stores have closed over the years. Plus, I wasn't made of money when I was 14, and Walmart is cheap. One night, I walked to Walmart with my AirPods in. It's a 15-minute walk. When I put my AirPods in, I shut out everything else around me. I feel like most people with basic social awareness know that if someone's wearing headphones, it means they don't want to have to take them out to talk to you. I was minding my business in Walmart in the girls' clothing department when I noticed a guy next to me saying something. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but...
Lou, in the UK, do you have more self-checkout aisles or actual people? Ours went full self-checkout. I'd say it's an even ratio now. In the small stores near me, if there's one person on checkout, there's like one or two self-checkouts. In the big ones, there's quite a lot. There's probably more than people. Yeah, self-checkout, there's a lot. There's a lot.
It looked like he was talking to me. I took out my AirPods, and I said, "Are you talking to me?" He said yes. He was this shorter man with gray hair who looked like 50. He had glasses and a clean-shaven face. He smiled and said, "Sorry, I didn't see your headphones." Sure he didn't. He said he was just
Mr. DJ Tory with the big 5,000 biddies, bro. Sorry, thanks so much for the 5K, bro. Legend.
telling me how his daughter buys the same exact
Thank you,
kind
man.
of jeans I was wearing. I had no idea why he was telling me this, but I'm a very polite person to everybody. I always
At
have
the 20
been.
subs.
So I chose to be kind to him by laughing and saying, "Oh, that's funny." That should have been the end of an
Man, now I feel the rude that the alerts aren't playing, but the alerts are copyright and we're doing a YouTube vid. I'll play after, bro. I'll play after. Thank you so much for the 20 subs and the 5,000 bits, man.
interaction that didn't need to happen.
Fuck the alert. Okay, fuck
But
the
of
alert.
course, this wouldn't be a story if it was.
Thank you, man.
I was still looking through this rack of tops as the man kept trying to talk to me. He mistook my kindness for actual interest in talking to him, clearly. He asked my age, and I said 14, and his response was unsettling. He basically said, "Oh, what a great age. So mature, but still so young." He asked my name, and for some reason, I actually gave him my real name. And his response to my name was, "Wow, that's my favorite name for a girl." Next up, he asked what school I went to, and around now was when I decided to start making things up. I said I'm actually not from around here, I'm just visiting my cousin. He couldn't let it go though, and he persisted, asking where I'm from. I said I'm from out of state, keeping it vague. But then he said, "I've seen you around here before."
Oh my
"You
god.
Sure you're not from around here?"
Oh my
I
god.
looked at him and tried to think of a response, but instead, I ended up turning around and walking away from him. I was for the first time ever actually made very uncomfortable by a stranger. The way he said he's seen me before made me feel as though he'd been watching me or paid attention to me in this Walmart before. I went to buy the jeans I was holding at the front of the Walmart. Then I walked through the store to enter the mall. It was November or December, and they had just put up the Christmas decorations, so I wanted to walk through. And I also wanted to see if any new stores opened, since my shopping in Walmart was cut short. I walked through the mall with really nothing catching my eye. I went into a Victoria's Secret, and while inside of there, I saw through the glass that
Sorry with another 10 subs, bro. Demon.
guy from Walmart sitting on a bench in the mall outside of the Victoria's Secret. I
But.
left the store and started walking very quickly through the mall.
Thank you,
When I
man.
turned around and saw he was now walking behind me, I started to panic and called my mom, asking her for a ride because I was being followed by a man.
No. Well, to be fair, she might, her dad might be around or whatever, but if he is, you need to call your dad. Call an uncle, call someone, or even get your mom to be fair, my mom will probably beat this guy's ass. Get your mom, someone's got to beat this guy's ass, bro.
And waited in a store with multiple people inside. He came to the entrance of the store, and he creepily said my name in this way that he clearly didn't want a lot of people to hear him. I started
really,
to
Army?
feel sick. I went to the cashier and said this man is following me. I don't know him. Some customers overheard and looked over, and the man clearly noticed and started walking away into the mall. The cashier, who was probably only 20 years old herself, sympathized with me. A couple even came over and said they'd wait with me until my mom got here. My mom came into the mall eventually, and I left with her, thanking the couple who waited with me. I didn't go to the mall or that Walmart alone anymore. I didn't even go back with friends for a long time either. I hope that guy got caught being a creep and has been taken off the streets.
Mate, nah. Listen, anyone that does dodgy stuff with kids, man, not just the streets, they need deporting to Mars. No suit, no nothing, bro. Send them to the blue moon. I mean, the blood moon. The blood moon that's happening this year that I found out today. Send them there. Send them there. Weirdos, man.
My worst job ever was working at Walmart. I worked
You
there
wanna go
only
to
for a
Mars?
few months. I hated every minute of it, honestly. I didn't get along with a lot of my coworkers.
I've been here.
The customers were crazy and weird, and I felt like a lot of people just generally were unfriendly. I was 24, and Walmart was my second job to make ends meet with my new apartment. Sometimes I'd work register, sometimes I'd work the desk outside the fitting room, and sometimes I'd work general sales associate. On this day, I was a general associate, walking around the place assisting customers and straightening things on the shelves. I interacted with a bunch of people that day. I still remember dealing with some of the dumbest customers I'd ever had the displeasure of interacting with, but nothing could have prepared me for who I was going to run into that day. I got a random pat on the back, and I turned around to see my ex-girlfriend Casey. She looked super happy to see me and went in for a hug.
Okay.
I was surprised because she didn't live anywhere near here.
She missed you.
I asked what brought her here, and she said she heard through a mutual friend that I started working here recently. Casey and I did not leave off on good terms at all. She had been harassing me for a while since I had broken up with her.
Psycho.
I had to end up blocking her on everything to get her to stop.
Psycho.
She was insanely controlling throughout our relationship.
Psycho.
And downright obsessive, bipolar, and paranoid.
Psycho.
And after I ended things with her, she wouldn't stop trying to contact me and meet up with me to talk things out, even though we had talked things out multiple times. She even left multiple voicemails crying. I take no joy in any of that. I don't say any of this to belittle her or make a joke of mental illness, but she has issues, and I came to learn that, and I had to tell her multiple times her behavior is not normal. Her finding out I got this job and coming to my place of work I was not okay with. Even though I hugged her back and was cordial at first in this interaction, I eventually cut the crap and said, "Why are you here?" The fake friendliness stopped here on both sides. Her face got more serious, and she started telling me that it's really messed up that I block her out of my life like this. I told her this is the exact kind of behavior that made me block her. Showing up to my job is not normal. Then I started asking her which mutual friend told her that I worked here. She claimed that's irrelevant, and I assured her it most certainly is not irrelevant, because I didn't believe that anyone told her where I work. I had broken up with Casey many months ago. She should have had no way of knowing about my new job or apartment, and I was confident none of my friends were even in contact with her anymore. I told her I'm seeing someone else now. I have to get back to work. Please leave and don't contact me again. She refused to leave, so I simply just started walking away to an employees only area. She didn't follow me back there. It was at this moment I actually started considering trying to get a restraining order.
Jesus.
After my shift was over, it had to be like 11 p.m., closing time. I left the store and went straight home. My roommate was home. His car was in the driveway.
She's in
I
there.
parked next to him and went inside. I went straight to the kitchen to make myself a late dinner, as I always would after closing shifts. I microwaved some frozen meal and went to the living room to play video games. For a while, this was my only time to unwind and do what I wanted. I played for maybe an hour, then went to bed. I woke up not long after falling asleep. I thought I heard something. I looked up and realized my bedroom door was open. I definitely did not do that. My roommate Paul goes to bed really early because he works early, and there's no chance he'd just get
Yo,
up.
I don't care, bro. If anybody ever does that to me, I'm going psycho on you. I'm going psycho on you. Like, literally, the detectives that come are going to think that I'm the fucking serial killer. They're going to think I'm the crazy person.
Get up and randomly opened my door. I got up and walked out into the living room. I turned on a lamp and looked around the place.
She's there.
I went over to the front door, and it was unlocked. What the hell was going on? I was thinking, did Paul leave? I looked out the window and saw that his car was still there. I locked the front door. Then I went to his bedroom door and tried opening it. It was locked. I knocked on the door lightly once, and he didn't respond, so he was asleep. I was genuinely confused. I went out front and looked under the pot where we kept a hidden spare key. It wasn't there. My heart was in my throat at this point. The only person in this world besides Paul and my family who knows that I like to hide a spare key outside is Casey. I checked at least 5 times under the pot, even checking the surrounding area on the chance that maybe it was kicked out of place or something.
Wait, what?
That I throat at this point. The only person in this world besides Paul and my family who knows that I like to hide a spare key outside is Casey.
Oh, okay. I thought he was saying that he, knew where the spare key was to this apartment, but then before in the story you said that she don't know where your apartment is. But he just means in general. Like, he just always hides the key to any place outside.
I checked at least 5 times under the pot, even checking the surrounding area on the chance that maybe it was kicked out of place or something.
Wait, why would you have a key hidden outside when you're inside? Do you hide the key outside when you're outside? Or you just have a spare one anyway? So you got one that's yours and then you just always have a spare one outside? Like always.
Went back inside the house and shut the front door. I went to the knife holder in the kitchen, and the biggest knife was missing. My phone was still in my bedroom.
Oh shit, she's gonna
I had
chop
to be
you
smart
up.
about this. I tiptoed to my bedroom door until I was close enough to grab the doorknob as fast as I could and slam it shut from the outside. I screamed as loud as I could for Paul. He erupted from his room, obviously confused, and there were suddenly bangs on the bedroom door from the other side, along with Casey's voice saying, "I'm sorry, let's talk." I held the door closed with all my might as she kept trying to pull it open.
Get a gun.
Paul called the police as I held the door.
Get a shotgun.
After a few minutes of this, Casey stopped trying to pull the door open, and she was hysterically crying on the other side of the door.
Get a shotgun.
Finally, the police arrived and came inside. I moved away from the door, and the officers made sure Casey dropped the knife before she came out. She was, of course, arrested, and I didn't...
Wait, Louise. I don't know if this story is sexy or worrying right now. Okay, you like your women psycho. Okay. Fair enough. So, hey, I ain't judging. Some do. Some do.
even have to press charges. She was charged by the state for, I believe, burglary in the second degree, and she's currently serving a pretty lengthy prison term for this. I'm honestly shocked she didn't get charged for attempted murder. It's a sick situation all around.
Hey, bro. Hey. Wait, is that actually classed as attempted murder, chat? Sneaking in someone else and taking a knife? Could that be classed as attempted murder? I thought attempted murder, like, you actually have to attack him. You have to actually attack him.
I don't know when she'll be out. I'll have been long moved out of this place by then. My biggest regret is not catching the red flags with her early on.
Crazy. 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 Hey, there we go. Storage to avoid Walmart if you wasn't already avoiding. Interesting.